this episode of Spy Family got extremely emotional, like, really emotional. The whole final sequence of this episode was just kind of tear-jerking. Like, honestly, really tear-jerking. And I think that ending song really kind of was the ribbon on top to that all that emotion, that build-up that we got throughout the episode. And I want to take a few moments to talk about it, because it is truly such a good segment of this episode that I think everybody's going to be talking about because of what it actually is. Now, before I go any further, you're probably hearing some birds, by the way. There's a bird nest outside my window, and obviously I'm not going to mess with it, but if you hear any birds, it's little birds in the background. Please forgive me on that. But anyways, the final segment of this episode is just emotional, like legitimately emotional. And seeing Anya display tears was something that's going to take everybody by surprise, because up to this very point of Spy Family, Anya has been this very strong character. She's been very hyperactive, she's been energetic, very outgoing, outspoken, someone that is able to put up with this very bizarre situation with a very strong personality. She is a very strong person. And so at this very point, you don't think it would take it would take a lot, pretty much, to make Anya cry. That's what you feel. That's the impression we get from her character, at least this far into the story. And even though we don't know much about, let's say, Anya's past, even though we know she knows telepathy, she was in basically a lab, probably experimented on, and we don't really know who her parents really are, we can take at face value that, yes, she probably had some dark stuff happen in her past, but she seems to be very strong-willed. But then we see this episode when one of the individuals, the interviewers, start to interview her and everyone else, she breaks down and cries when she's asked, like, who do you like more as your mother, your old mother or your new mother? And she cries and starts just saying mama. And it's a very powerful scene because it shows that we as the audience are pretty much the only ones that know. Like, obviously Loid and Yor can take guesses on what it is. For instance, from Yor's perspective, she feels like Anya lost her mother a year ago, and, she's just been she's been dealing with grief, and she's been trying to move on, but obviously she hasn't. Loid is someone that picked her up from the orphanage, and from his perspective, he probably assumes either A, her parents abandoned her, or her parents are dead, one or the other. And, he knows that there's a darker situation there than just, let's say, the mother dying. And then you got Anya, which is the one that knows the truth, and we as the audience kind of, know somewhat of the truth, that she obviously has a dark past. She probably got ripped from her very family, and probably doesn't even remember her family's face, which is the emotional part about it. So when she starts to break down and cry, obviously Yor gets very defensive. She's about to probably just destroy the interviewers, but then Loid steps in and is about to punch the man with the fear of death itself, and crushes a mosquito on the table, which implies that if that mosquito wasn't there, he probably would have hit that man right then in the face, which just says enough that Loid, as a master spy, one of the best spies, was about to break his very mask, his facade of being a father figure, which kind of showed that he got so into character, like he got so into the father figure role, that he couldn't resist, and he was about to go at that man. And in a way, he likes to say that he doesn't let emotions get to him, etc. That's what he tries to say to reassure himself throughout the episode, but in the grand scheme of things, he is being a father. And one of the biggest, the biggest things of a father figure, or at least a parental figure, is definitely to get emotional if you see your own child crying. You want to protect them. You don't want them to be sad. You want them to be happy. You want them to have a fulfilled life. And when you see something like that, it's going to hit you hard. And so Loid reacting like that shows that he isn't heartless. He is not a heartless man. He cares about those around him. He cares about Anya, and he, in his own way, is feeling like he really is a part of a family. It's emotional. It's a really good segment. A lot of development there, a lot of characterization. A way you can honestly analyze that entire sequence and really get so much out of it, not just for, let's say, Anya, but Loid and Yor as a character. They really got a lot of characterization development in that moment to really just show who they really are when you kind of dissect them, when you just dissect their very personality, you can see who they really are. And I really do appreciate that. It's a really good way to show that it isn't just an act. It isn't just them, putting on an act to be a fake family. Loid is growing attached to those around him. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about the main meat of this episode, which is the entirety of the school exam. For instance, Anya getting into the school. So, the episode before, obviously, the final sequence is incredibly hilarious. There's a lot of funny moments and a lot of elegance, to say the least, when it came to the character that was just watching Loid and what he would do next. For instance, the entire sequence where Loid walks into, the dirty water and pulls out the child and, he dirties his entire outfit, the guy's like, oh, that's, good thing you did that, but it's not elegant to be dirty. We're not letting you inside the school. That's what he says to himself. But then Loid instantly changes. Everybody's in new clothing. And it's like, who prepares for that? Who legitimately prepares for a change of clothes at an interview like that? It's just like, what? And obviously, it's already pushing the realms of, madness, but it's how much elegance, so much elegance with that. And then things happen much further where you have, the animals come trampling in, and obviously they have to deal with it. Yor demonstrates her ability as a mother figure and takes down the head of the herd. And when that actually happens, you have it to where, Anya demonstrates her ability, the animal's gonna go away, they're going back, and they, the man's like, holy crap, elegance, that's so much elegance, and obviously their outfits are torn and ripped thanks to the entire issue, and he's like, look, because of this, you saved the day, you could go back, get ready, spiffy yourself up. But obviously, they pull out more outfits, and they dress up once again. It's like, don't worry, we expected this, we were ready, and he's like, I don't know if this is elegance. This is beyond elegance. This is kind of madness. And it's funny because it's kind of true. It's like, who the hell? Even if we're wanting to say you brought one outfit, who brings two different full outfits, suits and everything to dress up into if something happens? That's what blew me away, and I think it blew everybody away, and it's just funny. It's an absolutely hilarious moment. I really like the headmaster. Hopefully get more of his character, because seeing him kind of step up as well as an educator and kind of put that man in his place that made Anya cry made me instantly respect him as a character, because it's it shows deep down, despite him wanting to be elegant, etc., he really does want the students to succeed. He wants, to be a good educator. That's exactly what he wants, and I really do appreciate that from his character, because at first glance, when you see the episode, it seems like he may not care about people, but in reality he does have emotion, and he realizes they made a mistake in that with what happened, and I feel like this isn't going to be the end. For instance, I feel like there's going to be a way for them to get into the school because of that action. I mean, when you just look at that, making a kid cry like that, it's just is that really the level of elegance that the school wants? That, you have the teachers making kids cry over something like that? That just doesn't feel like what a prestigious school would do. And so I do think that they're going to get in, but there's obviously going to be some stipulation to probably get in. But yeah, it's a really good episode of Spy Family. It's almost 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, almost 10 out of 10, maybe 11 out of 10. It's just a good episode. It's emotional. It gets you. It pulls the heartstrings. And the episode sadly felt like 5 minutes, which, my feelings on the matter. If it, felt like 5 minutes, it means it was a good episode. It just got me immersed, and I enjoyed myself. So, yeah, I like this week's episode. I like Yor as a character as well. She is a really good mother figure. I really like that entire segment as well when, Loid is complimenting her, saying that she's a good housewife, she does the best she can. It's a really good segment as well to show that he does believe in her, and he even said he got a little bit irritated when they tried to make fun of her. It's not just Anya he's getting emotional for, he's getting bonded with Yor as well. It's a good segment. I like this episode. It is definitely a great turn for the story, and I cannot wait to see where it's going to go next, because this is a great show. This is a really good anime, and it's making a lot of sense why it's boosting in popularity because of how good it is. I absolutely love Anya, and she is adorable. We need to protect that smile. But I guess I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a like. It does help me out a lot. Helps with the algorithm. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't hit it. And also hit that bell icon if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video. Well, with that, guys, be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.